Hi, everyone. This is Travis.
Hey, everybody. This is Jonathan.
And welcome to the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
This is the podcast that eventually plays the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat. But I don't need to tell you, you are the people that made us the most successful podcast in the world.
We can't thank you enough.
Today.
We cannot thank you enough. Today, it's official. I knew we were coming up close on it, but it's official now for sure. We can say that.
We got a call. I got a call from the podcast authority, and Tyler Taylor told me that it was, he said, depending on what time you record, you will be number one.
Oh, my God. I knew we were inching close to it. I just didn't want to come out and, say it right out the gate, but I guess we can. That is the best $45 we ever spent. You let Taylor know that.
Tyler. That was so. I guess we spoke too soon.
Oh, don't even bring up last week. I am embarrassed by that. Jonathan, please don't. That's the last episode we put up. You were listening to someone who was just not a whole person at that time. You're listening to someone who's was, because that's not me anymore. I want to make that clear. Is there any way we can take that one down?
No. Oh. I mean, that's where the ball started rolling.
Well, after that, that's true. I guess, I don't mind a little embarrassment. I don't mind.
No, you can't edit a podcast. You can't take it down.
Right.
It just goes out there.
And it's there forever.
And it lives there forever. Those are the podcast rules. And look, playing by them has gotten us where we are today.
That's true. You're right about that. It doesn't make me any less embarrassed, but
it's darkest before the dawn,
that's
baby.
True. Hey, if there's ever proof of that, then that's what you and I are living proof.
We are living proof. Have you ever seen a movie and like 2/3 in, the main man or lady or animal is going to be so sick or hurt or injured, and you think, well, they cannot go any further up that mountain or into that department store, and then what happens? The rest of the movie is they triumph. And this is our rest of the movie. Number one.
I'm glad we got past that middle, because that's the worst part of every movie too. I can't stand that part. It's just like, oh yeah.
That's when I go to the bathroom if I have to.
Whine. Oh, cry. So sad. There's much worse things happening in the world. There's people much worse off than you. Why am I going to waste any energy? But fortunately, that usually is a small portion of the film, and things get better, and then you can, be entertained again.
Our last episode, 9,000 listeners.
Unbelievable.
This one, the sky's the limit.
That's
what Tyler said. Can you believe that?
That Tyler said that?
No, just 9,000 people.
No, I still can't. No.
And they said that there are interviews.
I trust Tyler, don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to say that, but no. If you were just to say if it was anybody else but Tyler came up to me and goes, your last podcast had 9,000. I'm like, yeah, right. Who are you?
There are interviews on podcasts, and there are movie stars, and there are shows about automobiles and automobile history, and your favorite automobiles, like automobile museums. Henry Ford, Detroit, the Motor City, you name it. There's a podcast about it out there. Maximum Overdrive, whatever you want to listen to. We're better than all of those.
Well, if you're judging by
success,
then absolutely.
And by what people want to listen to.
And I like automobiles just fine, but do you want to hear about something that's mechanical and just, oh, yeah. I get, when the mechanic is telling me what's wrong and what he has to fix, I'm like, yeah, skip to the end, how much it's going to cost, because I don't know what you're talking about.
How about a little real world advice, folks? If you're out there and you're doing another kind of podcast, just from two people who've been there where you are in the depths, maybe try to do something more like what we're doing. It worked for us. I mean, that's all I can say. And I don't know how you do that.
And
if it's even possible.
You're entitled to do a podcast about whatever you want to, whether it be a car or whatever. But why not? Why not? If you're interested in success, and you may not be, maybe you just want to get on there and talk about cars and dare someone to even listen, to just be mad. And, if that's how you want to be, then so be it. But why not talk about something that's positive? Why not talk about love? Why not talk about God's favorite animal on the planet? Why not talk about beautiful music? Those are options, people. You can do that. You could pick just one of those and you'd be doing a better podcast. But the one you're listening to now, we talk about all of those things, every single one of those things I just mentioned. And that's why people listen. That's why, because people are tired of the bric-a-brac and the, well, where am I going and how's my car? What's that ding or what? People are sick of that. They've had enough.
Look, I hate to tell you I told you so, listeners, but we kind of did. And that's nobody's fault.
And we've got the proof to back us up. We're not just some schmoes on talking on the computer, on the internet.
9,000 listeners.
9,000 listeners. This, because when you're listening to us, everything we say has that 9,000 people backing it up.
What are you going to do with all that money?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't decided.
I don't know if this is rude or...
No, I don't mind. I mean, we're talking about success, and let's be honest, part of success
is money.
It absolutely is.
Like
sure,
75% of it.
I would say 85%. But I mean, you want to feel good about what you're doing and have, hopes and dreams, blah, blah, blah. But, if you've got the money in the wallet, if you've got the money in the bank, then
that's
you don't have to think about that stuff.
No, your wallet's thinking for you.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
And that's what success is. That's what success is about. And you're listening to two men who are very successful at the moment.
And we want to help you. So
we do.
Stop what you're doing and do it better.
There's so many options, people. There's so many. And I want you to have the success that we're having. I want that for each and every one of you listening. And even those of you who have, let's just say negative. I'm going to say puts negative advice or energy into the world, whether it be about a car or whatever else.
There are a lot of options, and here's two that I looked at. Buying an apartment complex and using that as passive income, the rental money that would come in, and Tyler Taylor said his mother was looking for something to do now that she's retired, and I thought maybe she could manage it for me. The other thing was buying a Bagel Bell. I've always been interested in fast food franchises, and I thought, well, maybe that's something else I could do. You don't have to go by there and smell like the people that work there and the food they make when you go home, and you're like, oh, I work at Taco Bell. Can't you smell it on me? Or I work at McDonald's. Have a whiff.
Well,
those are all great.
Those are all great.
I looked at those places, but I think a Bagel Bell is probably, if you look at the...
Well, the thing about bagels is different than the tacos and the burritos. A bagel you can eat all day long. It does it breakfast, lunch, dinner. I want to bet, a bagel fits all of those all those courses.
That's how I look at it. Mm-hmm. And that's what Audrey told me.
And sometimes, does Audrey know about the bagel?
She has a whole fast food franchise business.
Really?
She's been talking to me about. I'll have her talk to you. She doesn't dress up or anything. It's more professional. She comes in with a briefcase.
I far be it for me to say anything bad about Audrey, because even though I took, at the time that she was trying to help me and give me the advice like we're trying to do now for so many listeners who are probably going to be just like us, and just not going to right, sure, what do you know? Because that's kind of as much as I enjoyed her costumes and her songs, that's what I thought.
Well, I'll be honest, I was sort of done with her after we became successful.
Right.
But surprisingly enough, that's how she got her Mercedes, is from fast food franchises.
Fast food.
It's not this other stuff is just like she's playing around with it.
Well, you know what? If you apply the advice that she gave us to do on podcasts, if you apply that to the fast food industry,
I think that's a better fit for it. And that's why I thought, well, I'm going to give her one more chance.
There's going to be 9,000 people at the door on opening day, I'm telling you.
And here's the other thing. Now that I'm rich and successful, if this doesn't work out for me, if she gives me bad advice, I wouldn't want to be in her shoes. I think she knows there's a threat of lawyers, lawsuits, etc.
That's another thing that money brings to you, that success brings to you and your conversation with people. Like, sure, we can plan this out, but if you step out of bounds, I can hire lots of legal teams to come at you. And not ever I can have enough money to keep throwing it at them that they will never let up.
And let me tell you something. If you're listening to this and you're not rich or successful, you don't know that. But when you talk to a rich or successful person, you pick up on it. I think back to when you talk to rich or successful people like your boss or somebody who humiliated you, and you kind of got the signals. You're like, okay, this person could ruin me because they've got the money and they've got the power and they've got the time. And
keep your mouth shut, or else it's coming, or the rain, the wrath is coming.
That feels great, and that's what you want to.
That's what being successful is. You want to have that in your pocket to pull out at any given moment.
Yeah, you don't even have to pull it out. People know it's in there. They see the bulge.
That's all they know. And take it from us. This is
we gotta play that song, I guess.
Oh yeah. That's that's why we're here.
It's the secret to our success, right?
It is. So you and I can talk about because you were asking me what I was going to do with the money, and I don't want to make an announcement on here yet. So while the song's playing, I'll fill you in on what I'm thinking about.
That's cool. Audrey wanted me to get in touch with you, so that's why why I brought it up. Well, she smells the dollar signs in the air.
That's another thing that happens. We'll see, Miss Audrey. I don't think about her in that way at all.
I didn't mean money. Sex.
What? No, that's what I mean. No, I don't think about her in that way.
She doesn't want to kiss you. She wants some of that sweet cash.
Well, okay, yes. Let's play the song. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 1, keep a tidy house for them, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 2, be sure to clip their claws, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 3, scoop their box daily, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 4, brush them with a hairbrush, 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 5, don't squeeze their paws hard, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 6, give them some fresh water, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 7, let them have a fish, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 8, buy them a scratching post, 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 9, put them in your lap, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 10. Be quiet when they're sleeping. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 11. Whisper, I love you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 12. Rub their soft belly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 13. Make sure their tail is clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 14. Give them a yarn ball. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 15. Make them a nice bed. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 16. Buy him some catnip. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 17. Play them some music. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 18. Get them a cute collar. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 19. Make sure they're vaccinated. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 20. Take their picture. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 21. Brush their teeth. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 22. Let them watch TV. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 23. Don't let them be outside by themselves. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 24. Feed them some cat food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 25. Make sure their eyes are clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 26. Put a liner in their box. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 27. Give them a mat to wipe their feet on. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 28. Don't forget them on Christmas. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 29. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 30. Hold them like a baby. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 31. Let them have a towel or blanket. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 32. Keep your toilet lid down. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 33. Don't let them chew on power cords. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 34. Set them by the window. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 35. Cat-proof your home. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 36. Change their litter weekly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 37. Praise them lavishly. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 38. Never feed him chicken bones. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 39. Teach them a funny trick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 40.
40. Give them a toy mouse. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 41. Clean up their hairballs. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 42. Keep them away from candles. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 43. Give him a separate zone. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 44. Never play with them aggressively. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 45. Increase his cuddle time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 46. Be sure to watch his weight. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 47. If you leave, turn on the radio. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 48. Scold him firmly but with kindness. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 49. Respond when he meows. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 50. Give them a thing of cat grass. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 51. Scratch under his chin. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 52. Remind him that you love him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 53. Give them a box to play in. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 54. If they're old, help them get down. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 55. let them lick you with their rough tongue. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 56. Record precious memories. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 57. Dress them up in ribbons. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 58. Give them a flea treatment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 59. Make a vet appointment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 60. Give them a little wet food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 61. When they scratch you, don't get angry. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 62. Give them some private time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 63. Treat them with respect. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 64. When he grooms himself, say good job. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 65. Let them chase a laser pointer. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 66. Clean out their ears. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 67. Never smoke around them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 68. Buy a sturdy cat carrier. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 69. Listen to them purr. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 70. lured into by temptations. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 71. Give them your full attention. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 72. Don't trap them in the laundry basket. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 73. Let them sleep in bed with you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 74. Make sure they're not locked in the closet. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 75. Don't let them play in plastic bags. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 76. Give them a massage. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 77. Touch him as you pass by. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 78. If he's on the couch, don't be mad. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 79. If they hate fans, turn the fan off. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 80. When there's a bird outside, say, hey, look. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 81. Intrigue them with a funny sound. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 82. Don't forget sardine time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 83. Let him play with your old socks. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 84. Stroke in the direction that his fur goes. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 85. Admire his long whiskers, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 86. Keep his box away from his food, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 87. Pretend that he's a piano, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 88. Don't interrupt them while they're eating, 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 89. When they're scared, go and comfort them, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 90. Let him have a lick, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 91. If their breath stinks, give them greenies, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 92. Give him a ball with a bell in it, 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 93. If it's hot, put ice in their bowl, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 94. Let him drink out of the sink, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 95. Don't vacuum if it scares him, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 96. Draw a picture of him, 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 97. If you drop some food, it's theirs now, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 98. Read him a book, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 99. Feed him again, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 100. Just love them every day, 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways to love, to love. A cat. 100 ways to love a cat.
So what I was saying to you while the song was playing, when we were talking about that particular kind of investment, the dividends.
They just roll over.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Again, I'm talking about it. I'm not sure if I'm trying, and I may want to invest a little of this wellspring that you and I are so fortunate to have back into the podcast that we're doing.
Oh, you know what we got to think about is T-shirts.
Ooh, I didn't know what we have. There's T-shirts. It's been available for a long time.
We could double.
Oh, you're right.
And what you want to do is a crew.
A crew? Mm-hmm. A T-shirt crew?
No. You want to accrue more money.
Oh. Yes, of course. Yes.
So that's sort of what that is. You just sort of get some product that accrues, and then you kind of sit back and watch it roll in. And I think that's what we're doing. And also that song, it put me back in touch with that kid who wanted to strive and make anything happen. When I was listening to that song, and we were talking about all the investments we were going to do and make, I was like, okay, you know what? Sometimes you can get to a point where you've forgotten where you started from.
Right.
I'm still Jenny from the block. I'm still that person.
Absolutely.
Who started from nothing.
And
started from the bottom. Now we're here. This is 9,000
listeners, downloads,
800, and what did he say? Who cares? I mean, at that point, it's just
it's just
a ticker that's
going up. Yeah, it's just if we,
I can't even fathom it anymore.
If I weren't in touch with the pathetic, sad, miserable person that I was before we found success, then I would not be able to tell other sad, miserable people who are out there just yammering into the darkness that they need to stop and turn it around.
Yeah.
If I wasn't in touch with it, I couldn't talk to people like that.
Yeah, it's important.
And I don't want to talk to people like that, but I feel it's my responsibility to do so, to try to help them, not be what I was and never want to be again.
No, it's a pain in the booty to talk to people, but especially people like that. But you got to give back. You got to do a little charity work. You got to Bill Gates it.
That's right. You have to be thankful for what you got and realize how fortunate you are, regardless how talented you are, regardless of how people perceive you and what you do as being, one of the main focuses of their life and something that they count on. And you bring joy to so many people out there. Regardless of all that, you still have to
throw some money away.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah. And that's also for tax reasons.
Yeah, and you get a write-off for that.
That's money. We're just giving advice. I'm not going to give anybody doing an awful podcast money. Are you crazy? What are you talking about? Why would I do that? That's just going to encourage them to keep being awful. No.
Anyway, everybody listening, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
We do need to take a minute to thank, the 3 or 4 listeners who've been with us since the beginning.
Sure, we appreciate you
and then the other,
guys.
like nearly 10,000 new listeners.
The real people, the people whose ears matter that came, to us. Yes, absolutely.
And now, I don't even know. Next week we'll play this song again, and we'll impart some wisdom, and it's all about success, and it's all about breeding success, and it's all about getting in touch with the part of you that doesn't want to be stuck in a rut in a ditch that drains into a pool of loneliness and just pathetic.
It's like oily water, just like on the top, like the rainbow.
Yeah, just
kind of
that
oily. Just ugh.
You skim that off, and that's the essence of who you are.
Oh God!
So throw that out.
Yeah, get rid of that.
And then the water underneath is just as disgusting. Look, I don't want to run anybody down. We're here to help, and we really do appreciate everybody listening. My heart goes out to you people. You're my babies.
You are. We love each and every one of you. Thanks so much.
So next week we'll see you back here again.
Oh, I'll be back.